Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Get Celebritized, where I bring on the most amazing guests to help you earn more so you can live more, so you can give back more. And yes, living the life of your dreams. So today I have a special guest, Ramon Ray. He is actually, believe it or not, listen up, the unapologetically positive motivational speaker and event host, founder of Zone of Genius, Smart Hustle, and a key contributor of the most amazing clubhouse room ever created called Breakfast with Champions. And I'm going to bring him on right now because we're going to talk about how you can stay positive, be positive, live an amazing, happy, joyful life, and what it means to do that. And how you can bounce back if life doesn't always give you lemonade. You got to make some lemonade out of some lemons. So without any further ado, let me bring on the phenomenal, the excellent, my dear friend, Ramon Ray. Come on down.
Hey, Aurea, thanks for having me. How are you today? What's going on in your world?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I am
Excellent.
here sitting with you. Such an honor and privilege, Ramon, for being here. You are busy. You are doing things, and you're my kind of guy because
Thank you.
You just are, being unapologetically positive. You're speaking my language. And I've known you now, gosh, for quite some time, hearing you on Clubhouse, being part of Breakfast with Champions, seeing your zone of genius and your smart house and all the things that you do. You are tirelessly busy. So for those viewers and listeners that have no idea who the heck either of us are, let's start with you, Ramon. Who is Ramon Ray?
Sure, Ray. And again, thanks for having me on your show, Ray. And those listening, make sure you follow Aurea and promote what she's doing and all the work that she does. So, Aurea, thank you. And, I think the world of you, especially in recent days, I've called you a beast. And, I say that affectionately. So my heart's with you. So thank you, Aurea. But in a nutshell, Aurea, for the last few years, I've done two broad things. I'm a professional keynote speaker. So brands pay me it's really entertainment. I'm not a workshop person or seminar. Some days I wish I was, but I don't go too deep. But I'm the person they call to really open an event, keynote event, and usually that niche are large tech brands primarily with a small business audience. So I'm sure I could host a doggy daycare show or host a, lipstick summit or something, but usually it's high tech brands with tech software for business owners, Zoho, Microsoft, companies like that. I host many of their large events in Las Vegas and other places. So that's one thing I do. And then the different media properties I have, it's kind of a mix of things, but from starting a event business called Small Business Summit, which I sold, to starting smallbiztechnology.com, which I sold. You're getting a theme here, small business, starting smarthustle.com, which I sold. And now running.
Which a lot of people want to know how you did that, but we can get to that later.
That too, yeah.
Scale to sell is a whole nother topic.
Yes, correct. But media companies is the second part. Building media brands, building podcasts and articles and events and a media company, and then working a way to monetize that through sponsorship and things of that nature. So that's who I am, keynote speaker and publisher of a variety of sites and publications.
I have to ask you a question then, because I know you through Clubhouse and through Breakfast with Champions, and you do, and let me put this up here, the Breakfast with Champions Daily is such a great newsletter that you're curating and helping, and you take all of the daily Breakfast with Champions speakers, which is whether there are 90 of us on there, daily from 5 a.m. Eastern to 12:53 Eastern time, every day of the week, giving great content, and you synthesize that all the way down into this Breakfast with Champions daily newsletter. How did you get started with this? Because that's how I've met you, and many others have met you. We know you from this amazing voice on Clubhouse in this room. So how did that come about?
Yeah, I think a good starting point is to talk about BWC a bit. I can give the short history of that and journey of that as best as I know it, because anybody on BWC is relatively new. It's not like we've been around 10 years, but there's a guy named Glenn Lundy, and he's the founder of Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse, social audio app. And during about 4 years ago, during some strife and turmoil in our country, he said, hey, I wanted to have a voice of positivity and motivation, education, inspiration. So he's been doing that through podcast and video for a few years. And as you said, we have a number of hosts who, from fitness to gut health to trauma to real estate to finance, an eclectic mix of things. But our audience focuses on creators, authors, consultants, speakers. That's at least what I call it. Small business owners, freelancers. And just some time ago, Glenn called me up and said, Ramon, you know what? I'm building my businesses, building some things I'm doing, but I'd love you to run this and take this baby forward. So he actually gave me the whole community and said, Ramon, why don't you run it and grow it and take it?
I'm going to ask you another question,
Please.
Ramon, because I like to dive deeper.
No, please.
How did you guys know each other? Because I like to help the viewers and listeners know how to collab. So how did Glenn Lundy know of you?
Just like you and I, meaning that was just the clubhouse, the algorithm,
showed up.
and you go scroll through rooms. That's it. It started from me. We can, you build a relationship, but just you could be in a room about, watching paint dry. Not so much for me. So you won't know the people in the room watching paint dry.
Exactly. But you had to show up. So you were showing
Yes.
up consistently in the Breakfast of Champions and then got seen. And that's one thing I always teach my clients too. You got to show up to go up. So you can't just sit back, eat bonbons saying, I hope somebody finds me and we can work together. Right. So you were there and were being able to be seen, be heard, and you contributed to the conversation. They can do that anywhere. All right, continue. Thank you. I wanted to know that.
No, you're welcome. And thank you. Thank you for diving in. And and so that's the summary of the story, though, really. It kind of, and there Glenn said, Ramon, can you lead the community in showing up? But I think also the match, in fairness, Glenn and I have been giving him ideas on different things for media. He knew that was my space, meaning if I was a building contractor, maybe he wouldn't have done it. But I love media, events, podcast events. And so he said, Ramon, can you lead this community? So that's how it got started. And then the other phase of that, Aurea, is that's where I said, well, how do we start adding value, growing the community? And I know that email, even though people talk about social media, TikTok so much, I'm still a believer that for serious people, email is still that direct route to an inbox. And that then started, and I can tell you how I did it later, but that started for us to want a daily email newsletter.
That's so important because, I fight email all the time because don't we all get like a bazillion emails, right?
Yes.
But you're so right because I still to this day hear of my friends and colleagues getting derailed and shut down from Instagrams or Facebooks, whatever. They lose their community. All of a sudden it's gone. They try real hard to get it back. Sometimes they do. So if you don't have them in an email, in your database to be able to communicate with your audience that you're building, whether you have 1,000 or 100,000, that's your community. And if you have their emails, you can communicate with them. Then they can choose whether they opt in, opt out, stay with you, leave. And as long as you're giving good content and not spamming them and not doing anything over the top that would be annoying, then you need to be in their inbox for them to have the choice and the opportunity to see you. So even though we fight it sometimes, it's very important you have that email address. That's what your value is in your business, to have their information, because we all see Instagram can go bye-bye any moment.
You're right. In fact, I had one thing to that, Aurea. And so to your point, email, and I think going back, everybody can't do it. And not that we have to be everywhere, but we do want to have some sort of a 360 approach. You have the email newsletter. You don't have to be all social media, Pinterest and YouTube and everything, but pick the 1 or 2 platforms that you can handle and grow from there. Do you have a book out? Are you getting media, which I know is your thing? So I think for the small business owner that's maybe a coach, a consultant, a speaker, an author, email, I'm a firm believer in get that dialed in, then after or equal, then start to build your channels other places. So then, like people say to me, and I'm guessing they may say it about you, Aurea, people say, Ramon, you're everywhere. I'm not everywhere. I know I'm not everywhere, but the illusion is there for those who like Ramon.
It really is a great illusion too, because they're like, you're everywhere. It's like, seems like it, although I'm not on it all the time, every day, it's not all consuming. So a good question to ask you, Ramon, in this, because I know my listeners and my viewers on the show like to know tips on how to be successful. It does seem like we're everywhere, and we are everywhere in certain ways. What is your best advice to help the entrepreneur not be a solopreneur? So who helps you? Because Ramon, you get so much done. It does seem like you are synthesizing all this information for Breakfast of Champions. You are doing your own business. You're an event MC. You're going to Vegas. You're doing all the things. So are you a one-man show, or do you have people in your business that work for you? And how does that work? How do you attain them? Because finding good help is another problem that I find entrepreneurs have. They keep them a solopreneur and not a CEO.
Aurea, I wish I could give you a big hug because you've asked me one of my most favorite questions to be asked in the world.
Yay.
So I'm going to bullet point this rapid fire as I tend to speak in that way, but feel free to deep dive into any one of these. But I have a habit of and forget to wait, Ramon. Everybody can't it. So repeat. But here's a few things. And I think you're asking about delegation and scaling.
Yes.
So one, Seth Godin talks about, actually in his book right behind me, I think is This Is Marketing, Seth Godin's book. He talks about maybe here or somewhere else, but the aspect between freelancer and small business owner. So that's just one bullet point that people can note. Are you a freelancer? I'm making a painting. I'm making one at a time and selling it as it were, or small business owner. That's one. Two, I think the systems and that layer over the processes we must have. Doesn't have to be $1 billion company, but even what we're doing here, right? When this is done, so-and-so will take it and do X, put some lower thirds, maybe or not put music and upload. That could be a small system that Aurea and 2 other people have. That's number 2. Number 3, yes. So taking about BWC Daily, which we just talked about, I'll give an example. I went on Upwork, tip 1, and there's Upwork or Fiverr, number of freelance marketplace sites, for those who don't know, but Fiverr, Upwork are 2 very well-known ones.
Yeah.
I went there and I hired Aurea about 30 to 40 people. I hired a lot of people because I knew most, yes, with my own money, because I knew most wouldn't work out in this particular case.
Right.
Hired a lot of people. I said, I'll pay you all. Some didn't reply, some did, some fell off, but meaning I gave everybody a chance, and I whittled that down then to 10 people. So that third tip is, yes, you can hire freelancers, and some people use the word virtual assistant. I prefer the word freelancer because virtual assistant is such a big word, but no, I have a social media manager. We have an assistant editor at BWC Daily. We have an editorial team, all freelance writers. So that's a third level. Number 4, fourth tip, Aurea, and I'll just do 2 more, so then I'll pause here a bit, but is learn to say no. So there's a lot of opportunity that comes my way, but I may say no or yes. So learn to prioritize and say no. My inbox, email inbox, pick your channel, but I'm pretty lasered out in. I have a 0 inbox policy. I filter very well. So I'll pause there, but talking about scaling and how to do a lot of things, delegation, building a team, systems and processes, our mutual friend Jay Baldwin has talked about, and know what you want to do. Do you want to scale and grow, or do you want to be a one-person business that does it all? And Aurea, last point, technology can help a lot with that. Getting your Calendly dialed in, marketing automation. So Ramon and Aurea can do some big things leveraging the power of technology.
Really good tips on that, because I'm a firm believer that there is no one woman or one man show, that there's nobody that's making 6 figures and above that does it all themselves. We just can't. And the people that are the wind beneath our wings make us all look good, but they're doing their genius behind the scenes beside us, because without them, doing the copywriting or doing the building of the funnels or doing the building of the landing pages or the websites, we can't do what we do. So I'm with you. I totally agree. You've got to freelance out those things and take that off our plate. Can we do them? Maybe. Should we be doing it all? Absolutely not, because we need to be doing our zone of genius so we can. I mean, I just think of the Oprahs of the world, the Tyler Perrys, and people are like, wow, they aren't doing it all. I mean, they're not even walking their own dogs, Could you? Yes, of course. Can you for enjoyment? Yes. But as a regular to do this every single day, what is more worth your time? And I always think of it as creating jobs for other people. So many people need those jobs, and we don't need to be doing them all ourselves. So if you were to say this in a nutshell, somebody saying, okay, I have so much on my plate, I need my first hire, my first freelancer, what say you? Who should that person be?
Yeah, I think, and one, I would spend time though on the question, I have so much on my plate first. I'm not saying you and me today, we can, but I would just whiteboard that question, because that is an important question. What does plate look like? How big is the plate? How small is the plate? What is it? What are the tasks? Do you have to do them? Should you be doing? Where do you want to go? All that. So, I can't help you with that, but talk to somebody probably in Aurea circle who can help you with that whole aspect of what your day looks like. Yeah, but that is important. Get that dialed in. And then I would say, Aurea, from there, I would say hiring an executive assistant. So, and let me tell you the type of assistant that works for me. Must say I'm a content producer. So if you're a one-person shop, that's a book publisher, you're in the TV world, you're a programmer, maybe need a different skill set. But for me, here's what the job description title, Aurea, that I used for my first hire. This was 7 years ago when I got my first freelancer. And the reason I got it, all the people I was around, I heard of John Lee Dumas and others who have all these, not Oprahs, but they're running $2 or $3 or $10 million niche enterprises. All have executive assistants. All are like, hey, Ramon, I'd love to talk to you. Megan or Bob will help you. So I was like, okay, there's something here. Everybody has a guy or a girl. So hire an executive assistant. And for me, I said they eat Infusionsoft was the name at the time, but now it's called Keep. They eat Infusionsoft for breakfast, and they drink Eventbrite for lunch. Eventbrite, those who don't know, is an online event ticketing system.
I like that.
Yes, because back then I was deep into Infusionsoft and Eventbrite. I wanted someone smart, but that's a smart and who could project management, but someone technical, so I could blend the two. And I'm growing, so I grew kind of not out of them. We added more people to the team, but at the time, I wanted that ninja, that kind of jack of all trades ish. And her name was Jamie, and she was amazing.
Absolutely. Actually, I saw you as I'm diving deep into, looking into you before I bring you on as my guest, like all the best of us do, the Barbara Walters. We'll do
Hmm.
our homework. I saw you on stage at Keep. I'm like, well, there you are being a speaker at Keep,
Wow.
which is the former Infusionsoft.
That's
So
right.
there you are building that collaboration. So what is the difference between executive assistant and a VA? And
Sure.
how do you go about finding that executive assistant that does eat and sleep, the
Mhm.
Keep Infusionsoft type of thing?
Or whatever your need is. So here's the thing.
Right.
We often use the virtual assistant term synonymous, but think about it. Today, after COVID, everybody's virtual assistant, not assistant, but everybody's virtual. So that was an old school word. That means, and I say this honorably, somebody's often in the Philippines, I think because their English is
Out of
very
the
well.
country? Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And so but I think modern day, we need to change it. That's why I say you just want a team member. Or if you
Team
want,
member.
I like to call it freelancer, because virtual assistant means to me, someone old school. I have a stack of business cards. I need them to type it in. That's,
Right.
yeah, we're
What do you
beyond that
think is the
today.
difference between what I'm thinking, virtual assistants and executive assistant? What I'm thinking might be is the difference. I have a VA who's fabulous. I mean, she's great.
Mhm.
She'll do what I tell her to do, and she is in the Philippines, and she's great, and she's very task oriented. But
Yes.
I still am in need of that executive assistant that that knows how I work, that really
That's right.
eats and sleeps Araya or Ramon. That's this great. I also did this for you, and I did this, and I created this, and don't forget, you need to put this, and this in place. And have you done the notes for this? That's old schoolers. Have you ever watched the TV show MASH? And it's your Radar O'Reilly, that
Yes.
one that says, "Oh yeah, I did this, and I've also done this, and this for you. You're all set." Because I find that with my VA that she'll create what I need, and then I have to go in and I have to
Yes.
create the content, do the copy, and make sure it's there. But I want somebody that does that part for me. What say you on
Yes.
that?
Araya, you've said it better than I should. I love what you just said. Clip that for social media. But that is the secret. A virtual assistant, thank you, is very, and this doesn't mean there's definitely blends. You can call yourself whatever you want.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
Araya said it best. Virtual assistant, very task oriented. Hey, here, 10,000 water bottles. I need the word Araya on each one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got a
Time
water bottle that
consuming things.
wasn't blue and
Yes.
they didn't get back to you. So that's it. And then the other hybrid word is project manager. That
Oh,
can
I
be
like
someone
that.
who runs the company, COO-ish. And then lastly, I'll say discrete roles: social media manager, copywriter, video editor. I have all those people on my team. Could
Yes.
you call it a virtual assistant?
Not
Yeah. So
really.
that word, I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Project manager, I like.
Yes.
So those are really good. Have an executive assistant that really knows you. They really eats,
Hmm.
sleeps, and breathes you and what you need. They can go the and then some. They don't have as many clients because it's much more niche. It's much more hands-on, and you should pay more for it. But I think
Hmm.
they're so vital, especially as we're moving up in the game, up in your career, up in your income. But when you're starting out, I've always had that first VA that just helps take things off your plate. You don't have to be doing I don't want to say mundane, but build that funnel. Get the email campaign going, building that. They can do that. And then the other person can help you massage the messaging and all that other stuff.
Yes.
So that really helps. Now back to your, Ramon, you're unapologetically positive.
Mm.
In this world, we can be sure of a couple of things: death, taxes, and obstacles, right? Obstacles are going to happen. It's not if, but when. How does somebody stay positive if they're running their own business? The world seems to be on their shoulders and they're going along, everything's going right and it's all great. And then all of a sudden, something happens that could derail them. How does somebody stay positive and work through? What are the people they need, or the skill set that maybe to help them, the tips to get through something that is devastating in some way, shape, or form to them, because it's life.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think a few things, Ray. I think that I remember one day a member of my family who remain anonymous, they walked in one day and said to me, um, they said, "Dad, the
Oh,
car's kind of crashed and messed up."
okay.
And this
Been
is not
there.
business, but as an example. Yes, was I upset for a bit or bothered? Yes. But I think, as Ray has asked, I didn't stay that way. So I think part of that, I'm going to get to a business example, but just the frame of reference, the milk spilled. This has
Yeah.
happened to me, or some people say for me. I get what the point is, but I want to be real. Pain happens, Ray. As you know, pain happens. You get stung by a bee, you can say, ouch.
Right.
But now, ouch, this sucks. Now, how do I work through it and get over it over time and move forward and not let it keep me in chains and bind me? So that's one. It's a framework. It's a mindset. I think number two, Array, as you and I know, because you and I are like-hearted, I know this already because the groups we're in, are when you wake up, are you thankful? Are you spending time? Are you having devotions? Are you having your body healthy? Those things, I think anybody who tells me that, even without knowing more, I would bet they're probably over-indexed on a mindset of growth as opposed to a mindset of poverty. That's point two. And then I think the third thing I think that happens is, for those of us, Array, if I can, as I get to know you, who may have that already, we thank God that we're able to plow through. If you're listening today and you're around toxic people, your mama says you're fat. Even saying that already stings me. I don't even like to say it, but I want to do the point. You have a dad who's been cursing you out your whole life. You have friends and family who are like, Aurea, why are you doing this company? It's going to fail, Aurea. Just give it up. Go be a virtual assistant, Aurea. Do something.
Go get a job, real job.
Yes.
Just over broke.
And when you have people like that, understand the reality of the situation, but the point is, be around people who can not kiss your butt, but uplift you. So those are a few things I would say, Aurea. Yeah.
Balcony friends. Absolutely. You become like the people you hang around with most. Yes. And sometimes, your family isn't the ones that you need to always be hanging around with. And you have to have them in your life, of course, but we don't have to spend all the time with those that are trying to pull us down, because many people haven't, some people don't. But if that is your challenge. And I like what you said, Ramon, that we have to we feel the ouch of that bee sting. That was great. Feel the ouch, but then put the ointment on it and start healing and do what you need to do to take care of the ouch, but moving forward. And some obstacles take a little bit longer. Some take more wear and tear. Like if you had a really bad, severe, gash or something with hospitalization, it takes a little bit longer, but the mentality stays there that, okay, I'm going to bounce back from this. Might take a little longer, but meanwhile, what else can I do today to stay positive and to work on something? And it matters to, be able to keep on going through. Was there anything?
Can I have one more thing on that, Rhea?
Just
I said it already, but to underline it, and Aurea and I think, are not saying, oh, you broke your arm. Get over it. Suck it up, buttercup. No. It sounds like it, but I want to be clear. We're just saying, after you mourn, you kiss your boo-boo, you sit in the closet and cry, have I been, after you go through, get up and keep moving. So.
Absolutely. And find the people around that will help you, because, many people know my story. I mean, my dad was murdered by the mafia when I was 15. That's not something just say, oh, well, it's, you go through it, you grieve, you bounce back, you do what you got to do. And that's a lifetime of, processing, or at least several years. And then, I escaped domestic violence. That was hard to go through. And just when I thought that was hard to go, and meanwhile, I was an entrepreneur at the same time. And then meanwhile, after that, my best friend in the whole world, my mother, died. She was given, 3 weeks to live, and she died 5 months later out of the blue at 59. And when that happened, Ramon, I have to tell you, it was 2 years before I even came up for a breath. It was so heartbreaking. It was like literally a knife in my heart that I could feel every day. And when you're going through a heartbreak like that, a loss of a parent, a loss of a child, something that's devastating, that's when you really need to take whatever time, get the help, get the support. Absolutely. And everybody will come back at a different time. I gave up everything for 2 years. I mean, I really just lost it, and it's okay. I eventually came back because I surrounded myself with people that loved me, care about me, and could lift me up as I, in my right timing. And it's just amazing how I just keep saying, don't go through this life alone, because you'll have little boo-boos that bounce back easy, and then you'll have those big boo-boos that's going to take a village. And it's okay. And don't put yourself on a time frame. Like, this should only take me 2 years, or this should only take me 2 weeks. We're all uniquely who we are, right?
That's right. You're looking at somebody else and thinking, okay, their house burned, their car crashed. They had a drought, a famine, and 10 million locusts. They got through it in a day. It should take me half a day. No.
Right, exactly. And never feel guilty however long it takes you. But get the team. Don't go through it alone. That's my biggest tip. Have those that amen corner, those balcony friends that'll help you through it. Because, life happens. And when you take time, and the time's right, to help others, because I love that I've gone through what I've gone through, cancer, everything. I had my own cancer. I love to make it worth it. Now I reach back and help other people through it. Domestic violence or cancer, or like you're saying, the burning of the house, whatever you've been through, if you can help others go through it. Now, once you're at the other side, to the light, helping others through it now gives that purpose of, at least that was one reason why I know I had to go through it. Probably many other reasons too, but helping others. So how can I say to you, Ramon, I understand how you feel if I haven't been through it myself?
That's right.
So it makes sense. Right. And that's just part of life. And if you're an entrepreneur, life is happening to you. We don't have the luxury of going to work 9 to 5, coming home, clocking out. We all know that fun joke that we leave our 9 to 5 to work 24/7. You know?
So true.
Yeah, we have to have that skill set to be able to do it
Yes.
around our life and be able to put what's important to us. And I know in our life, it's our faith, our family, and our career in that order.
That's right.
And we have to, balance it all. All right, Ramon. Well, with that, what is your biggest success? Tell us about some of the things you're the most proud of that you've achieved, because you've got the skills, you're surrounded with some great people. What's some of your biggest milestones?
Sure. I think I've had a few, and they're not all meaning, could say one of my milestones was, holding my daughter's hand and walking across the street. Metaphorically didn't happen, but meaning versus I sold $1 billion company. Two different things. One has easy monetary value. So I'll say one or two things. And, but I think one, I'm very happy that I was able to sell 3 companies. One may not have been sold for that amount of money or whatever it was, but the other 2, as I've grown and learned, I'm pretty proud of that. Answering your question, I'll put it that way, that I was able to sell companies that I built something that somebody saw a multiple X value for. That makes me happy. I think that's one thing. Very happy of just overall, and this is not one example, but my persistence, Aurea. Things like I remember, and I'll say both. I was a side note, Aurea. I was at an event, and I said, I interviewed President Obama. I said that word, I could hear half the audience cheering, half the audience jeering. So I said, okay, what do I do about this? So then there was Ivanka Trump at an event, and I was able to get a selfie with her. So now when I'm publicly speaking, hey, everybody, I got a selfie with Ivanka, and I interviewed the president. That's jokingly, but everybody's happy. But point being, so I interviewed President Obama. Pretty proud of that. That's another distinction.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
but what show? How did you get? Let's dive in a little bit.
Okay.
What is that for? People are gonna be like, wait a minute, on what and how? And that's a good one.
People don't know it, but presidents are lonely, and sometimes they randomly call people and just say, "Hey, I'm lonely." No, it didn't happen like that.
I was going, they just called Ramon. Okay, hey, Ramon, I'm lonely. Nobody wants to interview the president. It had nothing to do.
It said White House, and we were FaceTiming each other. Like, no, but bottom line,
while he was president or post?
Yes, while he was president, but at the beginning of his presidency. And this is a media story, Ray. You'll appreciate this, and those listening, because I know you train people in this. But bottom line, Google was launching Google Hangouts at the time. The video service that Google has. And so they had a contest to interview the president. And so I entered the contest, and my understanding is 300,000 people applied. This is way bigger than Good Morning America or anybody like that. 300,000 people applied. Yeah. And I had to go through a gauntlet of 3 to 4 interviews to be one of 5 Americans to interview the president. So I think the lesson here is that's what happened. Google Hangouts at the time had some contest. I'm sure they had some White House connection, apply to interview the president. And so here's the few bullet point lessons. A, persistence. 2, understanding kind of ish. Aurea is the producer. She wants you to be honest, but she's still human. Let me figure out kind of what she needs or wants. So I was able just to, by God's grace, figure out maybe, okay, I don't have to ask these silly questions about taxes. Anybody can get this online.
Right.
Yes. And the question I asked was about small business. So I think they gave him an opportunity. I was thinking, oh, that's something he'll want to answer. So that's number 2, kind of know what the media wants, whatever it is. And then 3, keep going. And be engaging, Aurea. I think they didn't say it, but now that it's been some years later, we all have the talent guide. Some people are different, but I just think they liked how Ramon showed up.
I love it. And everything about you too. But there's something else you did there. We always say this about like lotteries and stuff. You can't win it if you're not in it. I mean, what did you have to lose by? Most people said, oh my gosh, I'll never get that. I won't even try. I mean, and look what Glenn Lundy just did with his speaking, with winning the best speaker award, with all those people that went in for this. A lot of our community went into it. And I bet most of us didn't even try because thinking, oh my gosh, we don't have a chance. And then here's somebody that we know that's our mentor, that's our leader, Glenn Lundy, that wins it. So you have to be in it to win it. So good for you. Feel the fear. Do it anyway. What have you got to lose? And so you're in that nursing home someday way down the road saying, I gave it all a try. You leave nothing on the table.
That's right.
And look, so tell us, where can we find that interview? Is it on your...
It's on YouTube. It's probably on RamonRay.com. There's a link to it from RamonRay.com.
I'll put in RamonRay.com right up there so we can see that. How long was the interview?
So I was doing it with 5 others. I think the full time could have been 30 minutes, give or take. But I got to ask one question, probably a follow-up with a panel of 5 people. I don't even remember what they asked. Don't remember anything about them. I just know about me. That's it.
what is one thing you learned from doing that? I mean, you were on a panel with the president of the United States. And I don't care what people are, red or blue or independent or purple.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me. It's a person who has made it to the top of their industry. There's no higher job in America than that, whether you want it or not, whether you like it or not, doesn't matter.
Right.
They made it. That's a huge accomplishment. And so when you did that, what is one of the most memorable parts of doing that, interviewing somebody that has reached that pinnacle of success?
Yeah, I think two things. One is more technical and one is about that. But I think one, just the interview. It's a feather in my cap. You have feathers in your cap. Look, I can look behind you. We can see your feathers behind you. Right. So, but my point, you can just say it, Aurea. You know, hey, I can say I interviewed President Obama. I'm sure millions of others have, Oprah, whatever, but I'm a regular guy. I have. So I think that's one. That was just cool to say. That's cool. A feather in my cap, add on my resume. And as I recall it now, of course, years later, the technology is different. But just as Glenn has said also, Glenn Lundy, founder of Breakfast with Champions, but I think everything prepares you for a moment. So now I can say I have a lot of media experience and different things, always learn. So I can always learn. But my point being is that, you know, the background, I remember being on a chair, I had to pull equipment around, books, because this is Google, this is the president. So framing and things like this. So it was just cool. I don't think they had anybody come to my house, but they were willing to fly somebody there to make sure I had the right broadband and all that.
You so said, yes, come on down.
So I don't know where I'm going with that answer, but for some reason, I like to watch the technical stuff. Like, I don't know nothing about sports, Aurea. Oh, can I tell you a story, Aurea?
Yes, please.
Okay. I want to meet myself and cough. So here's Aurea. So we're watching the Super Bowl a few years ago in my sister's house. I'm saying, Tim, if they know where the ball is, my son, Tim, if they know where the ball is, why do they have to have a yellow line on the field? Everywhere the ball is down, I'm seeing this yellow line. I'm like, Tim, but they can see the ball. They know the ball's there. He's like, what yellow line? That is it, Tim. You see the yellow line? Every time there's a ball, they put a yellow line. No joke. I'm literally puzzled because I know nothing about sports. And he said, Dad, that line, that's computer generated. That's just for us to make the thing look good. Aurea, I had no clue. So my point being, the technical details, Aurea, I just geek out on.
Ramon, I'm going to make you feel better. I asked the same question to my son-in-law. So you are not alone. I'm like, that yellow line, what is that for? He says, it's only on the TV. I'm like, oh, okay.
Aurea, you made me feel better today. I thought, because you see the guy with the chain who has the real ball thing that they guess, whatever they do, the thing they see on the field. Aurea, I feel better.
Yeah, no, I asked the same questions. So I'm sure we're not alone on that either. So, but we don't know unless we ask, you know, it's fine to ask questions because that's how we all learn.
That's right.
And it's not our forte. It's all good. All right. I am so glad you got to do that big contest and you really, really stepped out of your comfort zone and said, why not? So I want everybody listening and watching to go for the gusto. You know, I wouldn't have won the Emmy Award unless I submitted, I wouldn't have won any of these awards unless I was brave enough to submit. Always thinking, who am I to win? Who am I to, you know, be in this world, in this big pond? Who would we not to be in the big pond? We're all humans. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses and our insecurities. So get in there. If you think the presidents don't have insecurities and problems, I mean, we all know we all do. So again, at the end of the day, they're just a human being that's here in this world of community that we have. Why not you talk to them? Why not you ask them a question? So was there anything about that interview that was surprising in a good or bad way? Anything, any last minute aha moments from that? So I want everybody to really go for the moon. And if you miss, you're still amongst the stars. And that was really your shoot to the moon moment.
That was so awesome. I love how you said that, Aurea. Wow. I want to go back to the tape and hear that again in my head. But so no, there was nothing surprising that I can think of. Okay. However, I think the reason why there was nothing surprising is because we practiced and rehearsed it. It seemed like 3 times, Aurea, but I don't think so. But I know that the Google team, and again, it could be any great company, billion-dollar company. They practice it, rehearse it because it was live. So I think that's the thing. And I think we have speakers on, you know, BWC who've talked about that. I think actually, Dre, the aspect of rehearsal and practice, not that you and I who've done this for years, we don't hone it, but we've done it for years. We still, I'm guessing you do. I know I do, even though I'm a professional. I may take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Let me breathe. Let me review. Let me check and make sure I'm good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The prep. Everybody knows when I'm getting ready for everything I do here right at the house. It's leave mom alone. She's getting in character. Now, I'm not becoming the character. Characters used to be when I was an actress, but it's getting in that mode of putting this hat on and knowing who I'm talking to, knowing where I want it to go. It's always that. And I love what, you know, we just lost a wonderful, you know, legend, which is Barbara Walters. And when I was watching those interviews, she really does what us journalists, and we are our journalists if we're telling stories, whether we're podcasters or we're on Clubhouse, whatever we're doing, we're telling our stories, we're educating, and we have to do our homework. And she was talking about she does more homework than anyone she's ever known. She knows more about the person she's interviewing than the person even knows. And they were showing clips of like Julie Roberts saying, how did you find that out? Did Brad Pitt saying, who told you that? I mean, you dive deep to make it different, to make it good, to show that you care, which is something that I always teach when people are interviewing and wanting to go on people's podcasts. You better know that podcast. You better not go on that person's never have listened to it, don't know who they are. So you know what to expect, but you're also, professional to them saying, I took the time to know, to say yes to your podcast or your show or your event. And I know who you are. And I really love some of those interviews you did, like so-and-so. So you're not just kind of winging it and saying, hey, this is just a, a freebie type of thing. It's really good to know people in your space, because then you never know what else can go forward from there if you do things with great professionalism.
Yes, that's for sure. And I know I can do a better job with that myself. I've caught myself where why did I ask that dumb question? Or no question is dumb per se, but I should have been better prepared as a way. So Aurea, I totally agree.
Yeah. Like I should have known you interviewed Obama, but that slipped through my cracks there.
No, but
it happened. Just all good.
I didn't know you didn't, whatever the thing is. But yeah, be as prepared as you can. And I think sometimes the aspect of, even if there's two sides of preparation, possibly, Aurea. I know some of my interviews I don't do in depth, but I guess I'm comfortable enough that I like serendipity. And also my questions are a bit different. So, but Barbara Walters' interview style may be a bit different than Ramon interviewing a tech exec about their CRM platform. But I think preparation, whether it's your equipment or whether it's whatever it may be prepared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Ramon, as we round up and close up this fabulous interview with you, what is Ramon's wildest dream? Because I love helping people believe in their wildest dreams and help them, verbalize it, because it can't come true if you don't start talking about it first. So what's your wildest dream?
Aurea, I don't know if you can handle it, Aurea. I don't know if you can handle it. But I'll tell you, since you asked, it's two things. They kind of overlap, but it's two things. Somebody's listening can help me with this. Well, the one is easy. I just have to do it and schedule it. Second one, don't know about that.
Okay, let's go.
So if I had to think of my actual wildest dream, like the one thing I'd love to do, I would love to have a day with the United States Secret Service Presidential Protection Counter Assault Team. Wow. Hang out with those men and women and have a day, half a day, 2 seconds of just hard to hard, whatever they can say that's unclassified. Because I used to work at the United Nations, by the way. So I've been around them. In proximity, but I would love a day just to go shoot with them, rumble with them, some scenarios. If this happens to the president, here's what we do, just some really cool stuff. So that's one.
It's cool.
Second of all would be probably, and this, people have done this, but probably 2 or 3 days, no shower, nature hike, a knife with a trained guide, and, a weapon if needed, a stick or whatever, meaning go out in the nature for 5 days is too long, Aurea, but like 2 days, 2 nights, just to go out.
Survivor.
I don't want to be on Survivor, no, but like Survivor, but with a trained guide, maybe one or two friends, like in Laura Ingalls. It looks so good when they have the soup that comes out of the bag that they pour with no salt, no preservatives. Their hands are dirty. It's grimy. They eat it and it looks so good. That's what I want.
Ramon, okay, to each his own.
Yeah, you don't want that, Aurea. You don't want to just
I want to feed a grizzly bear a cupcake like Betty White did. Yeah. I want to hug grizzly bears and swim with whales. See, we all have our own wildest dreams. Yes. What, though? Yours is so tangible, because as you start speaking about it, will happen. You'll end up talking to somebody who says, I know a guy who works here. And because of your background too, Ramon, it's not unfathomable because you probably have the security clearance that could make that happen. You have some expertise by working for the United Nations that makes that a wildest dream, but within reach. So absolutely. And wanting to go into nature and do that is absolutely doable. Yeah. It's putting it on your bucket list and then putting a date on it, making it a plan of action, not just a dream. So it can go from being a dream and a wish to being a goal when you decide, okay, I'm going to make this happen. Here's what I want it to happen by. And now I'm going to start asking my connections, who do you know? Because now it starts becoming an action. So better than anybody, you're going to make both of those happen. And say when I think about my Emmy Award, it's like I didn't just was born one day and say, hey, I think I'd like to win the top award in my industry. I was born and raised in the industry of acting. It was part of my wheelhouse. So it was just, even though I didn't win it until I was 48 and didn't have a vocal cord nerve, and it was for my own show, it wasn't for being an actress doing a role. It all came about because it was in my wheelhouse, and I just kept going. And so my wildest dream was actually, not so wild because it was part of my life. And I want everybody to open up their own mind. What is in your wheelhouse that you might think, oh, that would never happen, but it could happen because it's part of your fiber, part of who you're meant to be. Why not go for the Pulitzer Prize if that's in your wheelhouse? Why not go for those big things that it's not too late to go for? So I'm now going to be that little voice in your ear saying, so Ramon, when's that scheduled? Ramon, how you doing on that goal? Because I want to be your biggest cheerleader. Say it can happen. It absolutely can. And I believe
it can.
All right. Well, on a smaller scale, what's your goal as we close up for 2023? What is in store for Ramon, and what are you doing for others that we can tap into? I'm going to put up this one more time, this bwcdaily.com. I know you're part of this wonderful newsletter. You got to go to Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse. We're all there. They can tap into all of us and the Glenn Lundys and some amazing mentors and strategists and people that scale like you do. You build business, you scale them, you sell them, all the things. It's such a great community. Gosh, almost 200,000 strong now. It's absolutely, and it's global. It's worldwide. So for Ramon, for you, what would be the best outcome for 2023 now moving forward?
Actually, Ray, you took the words right out of my mouth in a way. My goal is not about Ramon Moore Consulting, other business I've done, but I am all in on BWC Breakfast with Champions, Ray. So as leading that business, as now owning it, in fact, is that my goal is to uplift our hosts, which you are one of as well, and our host, and build our whole media company. That is my singular goal. I've already started it. BWC Daily is a start, but there's so much more we can do to be the BuzzFeed, Cheddar, think, a Business Insider of personal development. That's what I want to do. That's it.
That's it. That's a huge goal. And you're already well on your way with the community of Breakfast with Champions. If y'all are listening or watching this show, whichever way you're absorbing the show, is go to Clubhouse, go to Breakfast with Champions. It is daily, every day, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern time, all the way to 12:53 p.m. Eastern time, with a slew of professional strategists, big people. We're talking, the Marcus Blacks, who are some of the big dogs?
Marcus Black, Brent, Brian Benstock, Justin Conoco, Aurea McGarry, and so many others.
Glenn Lundy, Ramon Ray, people that have really done some things, and we share for free our knowledge and our expertise every single day. So come on into the community. It's absolutely wonderful. You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to hear from, who you're going to collab with. And we always say, take it to the next level. DM them on Instagram. Really reach out to them educatedly wise, as far as I loved your segment, love what you said. And most of us will have a link at the top that say, here's your next step. Here's a free consultation. Here's a free masterclass, because we want to give back, leading them into our community. Ramon, you're absolutely amazing.
Aurea, thanks for having me.
Loved having you on the show. This is going to be such a great segment. I hope everybody taps into you. You got bwcdaily.com, but let me put up your website one more time where they can see all of your positivity and all of your zone of genius on ramonray.com. Tap into them. You will not be sorry. You will smile bigger, laugh harder, and be more positive today for knowing my friend Ramon Ray. Thank you so much for being here, Ramon.
Thank you, Aurea.
Have a great day. See you next time on Get Celebritized, where you get inspired to earn more so you can live more, laugh and be more positive, and give back more, because there's people out there that need you to be successful so you can help them as well. So bye for now. This is Aurea. See you.